What's up, everybody? Happy 909 Day, Luminous Cloud. And everybody, you were first. As you are often, I appreciate your loyalty. Hey, Neo-Pagan. Nick B. Neo-Pagan, you like this weather track, huh? Thank you. That was a long time ago. That's the 90s. Itzy is here. Mundulator is here. Stereo Decor. And Baby Hooligan. Hey, nice. That's a funny name. So yeah. Oh, Nick B. First time tuning in. Fantastic. Welcome. Neo-Pagan, man. Could Christian and I make a track that sounds like Weather with that same, we're different people now. I always think, if we tried to do our old school sound, like our 90s sound, would it come out right? I don't know. Our youthful exuberance was apparent back then. I'll try to dredge up a little bit of youthful exuberance today, maybe. Although it's not going to sound like Weather. That one, I don't know how that happens. Oz Diaz, welcome. All right. I feel like we're getting a smooth and easy start today. It has to do with this track. Another old track of mine from the 90s that I often use as the intro music. Anyway, enough of the initial rigmarole. Let's dive right in. Welcome to another Techno Saturday here on 343 TV, brought to you by 343 Labs Music Production School, located here in New York City and in Berlin at Riverside Studios, and globally online. Yes, we're available to everyone, everywhere, all the time, online. And here on Saturdays with me doing techno like today. And as mentioned in the warm-up there, it's 9:09. It's September 9th. It's the arbitrary number of the day that we have all decided to, or I guess, was it Roland? Who decided it was 9:09 day? Anyway, it's 9:09. And, of course, that's the classic drum machine that everybody knows and mostly loves. I sure do. I had one in my possession for years and years. Well, I had my own. I bought one in the early 90s, and like an idiot, I sold it. I mean, for a decent price back then. I sold it for $900. I sold my 909, which I bought for $200 for $900. I thought I was making out like a bandit. Little did I know that this many decades later, one in the condition that mine was, like perfect, thousands, $6,000 easily. Anyway, Christian Smith owned one as well, and we used it back in the day. And he used to live in New York, and when he moved out of New York, he left some gear here, the 909 included. Actually, I'm going to grab this. And Christian's old Nord 2 desktop, which I've used a lot. Thanks, Christian. But yeah, some months ago, Christian was like, please just, sell my 909 for me. He'd been asking me for years to try to get him to sell the 909. And I'm like, yeah, sure, Christian. And I would half-heartedly, I'd put it on eBay, and no one would, the price would be really high. No one would want it. And I would just wait a long time. I'm sorry, Christian. It took me forever. But finally we sold it. So I no longer have the 909. I was like, man, it's 909 day and I don't have the 909 anymore. But coincidentally, today, what happened? Where's my browser? Coincidentally today, as forementioned in the chat, it's the Drumazon 2 update. And, the D16 Drumazon emulation / expansion of the 909 drum machine. And I own Drumazon, and I always forget I have it because I just use I use all the built-in live samples all the time. I'm like, "Hey, let's try it out today. It's 9:09. Let's make some music with the Drumazon too and check it out and see how much fun it is." So, yes. 909 Day, Drumazon 2. This is just, I mean, I own Drumazon. They didn't give this to me, although I did get a coupon. Since I'm an owner of Drumazon, they gave me a coupon to get this at a the upgrade at a discount. So, I might do that because it's a cool plugin and it's inexpensive. Alright, so what else do we wanna talk about? I wanna plug my, online techno course for 343. We've done this a couple of times, had, 4, 5, or 6 students generally. It's a small class. You get, and, it's usually a mix of beginners and more seasoned producers that just wanna kinda work, with me a little bit and, get some new ideas. Um, this is supposed to start soon, right? So I just wanted to shout this out, pat myself on the back. No, but for the sake of 343, if anyone's been thinking about, "Hey, maybe I would like to do a course at 343 with Selway," one of you longtime viewers, um, you're working on techno and you wanna, like, collaborate a little bit. Hi, I'm here. Yeah. And yeah, check it out. There's links below. Um, see if this might be something for you. It's 6 sessions over 2 weeks, right? Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And, it's like a little group private lesson slash masterclass where, we share music with each other and ideas with each other and go over. I mean, you can see right here on the webpage. These are some of the things that we may talk about, and this is sort of geared more towards the beginners, right? Like history of techno and like some, putting your drums and your bass together, which is like, a big part of like making a good techno track is the bass and drum groove, right? Um, drum and bass interplay, whatever that means. The idea that like it's not always about bass lines. It's not necessarily like traditional music theory. It could be some weird sound design or some crazy noise, or it could be, there's all the eternal search for the perfect rumble, that kind of stuff that people like to do. We talk about all of that. But just, music production stuff geared towards music. And, of course, not everybody makes the same style of techno. So, and different students that come into the class, one person might be more underground, one might be more commercial, one might be more into Detroit stuff, one might be more minimal. Like we try to find the common thread and go over those different styles as appropriate. So anyway, that's my spiel. Think about it. This is supposed to start imminently, right? So go to the links below, look for the online genre courses, and you know, take a look and see what you think. Get in touch with us if you might want to sign up. All right, enough about that. What else we got going on? We got very soon, September 23rd, Sync 24 will join me for a feedback session, right? We got an electro feedback session with this very great producer, Sync 24, and he has a label, Cultivated Electronics. He and I will listen to your electro submissions. And if you want to submit something, you need to be in our Discord, right? The link also, hopefully, the Discord link is active. We always need to update. They time out after a while, the invites to our Discord server. But join our Discord, look for the Selway feedback channel, and you'll post a submission there. SoundCloud is probably the easiest way to do it, but any kind of file sharing we can handle, right? As long as it's in a browser and I can click on it and play it on the live stream. So doesn't have to be a finished, mastered, ready to release thing. It could be just an idea that you started, anything at any stage that is electro or very closely adjacent to electro. So like, it could be like pure electro that sounds like Kraftwerk. It could be the kind of Detroit-y kind of funk or dark twisted electro. It could be more industrial electro. It could even be a little Italo synthy 80s kind of electro adjacent. I don't mind. I'm willing to broaden it out a little bit. It doesn't have to be like super pure only, like it has to sound exactly like Doppler effect or else we won't accept it, right? No, that's not what I mean. I mean, it could be like 80s style electro. It could be very modern, whatever. It could be electro and techno mixed together. And we can talk about what is it electro or is it techno? What makes it electro, right? But yeah, that's coming up September 23rd. Get your tracks ready. Go to the Discord. Get into the Selway feedback channel and post your links there. There is time. All right. What's going on in the chat? Weather remixes, Luminous Cloud. Yeah, those were good. Planetary Assault Systems. Luke really did a number on those. Those are really good. Neo Pagan's asking about the RD9 drum machine. Of course, Behringer's clone. I think it's pretty good, especially for that price. Man, I mean, it's like the price of a really good plugin. So yeah, I mean, however you may feel about Behringer's business practices, that most of their products sound good. How long do they last? Well, take care of them, baby them. Luminous Cloud wants to do a custom session on incorporating scale changes in techno or electro. Oh, like music theory. Huh, that's a cool idea. Music. We talked about this 343 with the idea of tutorials. We were like bouncing around ideas for YouTube tutorials, and one of them was like genre specific music theory, because like there are a couple of music theory like techno videos on YouTube I've seen. There's some other people that have talked about it, but there isn't a lot. And for sure there's like little to nothing on like, the kind of electro we usually talk about. So that's a good idea. Another thing you could do is sign up for like a private lesson with me and we could discuss it, one-on-one and like really get deep. But that's a cool idea. Let me think about that. Sorry to hear about your dog, though. That's very sad. I'm sorry. Always, everybody send your best wishes. And all right, we've got another suggestion from Luminous Cloud. You're always throwing them out at here. Some knowledge on techno electro drums using Ableton Drum Bus. Sure. I mean, that kind of thing is, the way Drum Bus works, it's like it could work on in any genre, right? Like what it does is not specific to, but yeah, I can throw that on there. Oh, hey, Doug. What's up, Doug Smith? Nice to hear from you here. We've got, he's a huge Sync 24 fan over his many styles. Great electro, great ambient, great acid house. Yes, thank you. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. And join us on the 23rd. You can tell him yourself. He'll be here checking out the chat. Who else is new in the chat or back in the chat? Nomad James, hello. And he's agreeing, yes, music theory related bass lines to everything else is something I'm super interested in. Okay, good to know. We should, I'm getting the feeling that we were right when we thought to talk about making some music theory related, more music theory stuff for 343 YouTube. So yeah, or maybe we can do a stream on it. I know some theory. I'll be honest. I mean, I studied violin, I studied some piano, I know how to read music, I know some key signatures, I know some chords, but I have always primarily been ear oriented. Like if it sounds good, if it kind of, if I hear it in my head and I hear it coming out of the speakers and I can kind of translate, between the real world and what's in my mind. I don't necessarily know all of the music theory, but I feel like I've been just sort of so engrossed in music since I was a child, and my parents are classically trained musicians, and they know their music theory for sure. I just kind of grew up with that. It's like when you know how to speak a language, you may not be the best, like most literate expert on, say, like the English language, but you understand it and you know how to use it and you know how to communicate. I always felt like I'm really comfortable with music as a language, but I don't necessarily always know how to best articulate the rules as a teacher, right? But I know a little. I know enough. I know enough to help you with your chord changes, Luminous Cloud. Definitely. All right. Y'all, yeah, subdominant to dominant. Yeah, I mean, does it sound good? It's correct. That's what it comes down to, whatever you call it. All right. Let's try to make a little bit noise now that we've been kind of talking for 10 to 15 minutes here. And get over to live. I haven't even made this is I usually try to have something ready to go at the top of the show, but this time I walking on a tightrope. We are going to just start from scratch and see how it goes. So, keep your fingers crossed, be patient, be understanding, and we will look at this plugin together and we will try to make something with it. All right. That's what we'll do. Glad to have you here, James. Make it for once. Yeah, you're making it for once on a Saturday, not just watching it during the week. That's good that you're here. Always love to see new names and new people in the chat. All right. Let's take a look at this Drumazon 2 then, huh? Right. So, I just installed it. I've barely looked at the original Drumazon before. It's pretty straightforward, but it's the way they've set it up is it's really easy to just, it's kind of like when you go through the different scenes and kits, it's kind of like going through, samples. It's like going through drum loops. It sounds polished and produced. It's got effects. I think that's kind of one of the selling points is it's a whole like drum production, 909 drum production mini studio, right? You can do a whole polished mix with effects and bus effects and individual processing for each sound. So yeah, it in a way sometimes I'm like it's a little overcomplicated for me. Like I'm the kind of person who likes having his drum sounds one track per sound and building it up like that. I don't usually use full kits all the time, but there's a different vibe when you're using a drum machine as an instrument and it's all kind of playing together. So I guess, in a more hardware sort of focused workflow, if that's how you're thinking about your instruments, where you've got a drum machine that does all of it, also working that way, you may come up with different stuff than if everything's separated out in your DAW. So I don't know. Let's go through some of these scenes and different patterns and different kits and check out what it sounds like. That already sounds like very techno. These are already, just like I said, it's kind of like good drum loops to start with. That sounds like a beat I would make. So I noticed some of these are like kind of geared towards different tempos. It's tagged really well. Like each of the patterns, each of the scenes have attributes that we can filter by. So like that's the tempo this was written at. That's good. And that one's supposed to be 135, which makes sense. All right. Guess they're emulating particular drum rhythms from famous tunes. If that's all you want, if you just want to load up some cool 909 based drum loops as a starting point, I think that's pretty cool. And it sounds really good. The quality sounds really good. Who else is new in the chat here today? Los Flying Kites from Costa Rica. Welcome. Aaron 303 is here. Raccoon from Greece. Nice. And James, did I say hi to James Porch already? I'm sorry. Did I do it? Hello again, or hello for the first time. And Nick B. All right. So this is Techno Saturday. We want to make some techno, and I don't want to spend the whole time going through different patterns. Although, it could be interesting to like find individual elements and combine them together in different ways. We could even load up multiple instances of Drumazon. Oh, that's the other thing I was thinking today is only using this to like start a track. Like no other samples, no other synths, no other effects, just play with the drum machine and see what we can get. That's kind of, and also that's a really good way of getting to know this machine or this plugin. All right. Let's go back to the init scene, right? And so that's going to give us all of the basic unprocessed sounds. And the sequencer is empty. I guess I don't usually have a hardware related workflow, so I'm wondering, like, do I want to approach this with external MIDI and play it, or do I want to try to use the internal sequencer? And I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So I could. Oh, that's the other. There's actually a synth here. I was playing around with the idea of looking at Lush today, but I feel like this is a little complicated. So that's there, but let's just keep our focus on Drumazon too. Give me a BPM. I want a BPM. Let's collaborate a little bit. What tempo are you feeling today? I know more than one of you are going to throw in a tempo. James Porch says individual outs. Yes. Maybe that's what we'll do. Although we have to figure out how the audio effect routing works with the individual outs. But this thing does have all of that. We can go in and there's like channel strips for each instrument and a master bus, so like we can go through and process each of these separate instruments. There's the kick drum, there you got your 909 parameters, and then you've got filter and EQ and compressor. That's it. And then there's like audio out where you want to assign it to different slots, different outputs. All right. Maybe we'll do that. We'll do it like I would do it on an analog mixer, a regular mixer. All right. So we've got 135, 138, 133.33, 135, 128, 135, 128, 138, 128. What's the average? All right. I see a few 135. I see a couple 135s and I see a couple of 138s. Let's do let's do around that. I think the 130 something. I like 133, so we can do a lot groove on vinyl. Okay. Let's see. Let's get our 136. All right. 136 instead of 135 or 138. Is that okay for you guys? And let's see how the sequencer works. I mean, right away, that sounds like an unprocessed, straight out of the box 909 kick, which is like, most of the time when we hear 909 kicks in tracks, they are saturated or clipped or compressed and EQ'd and all of that. So I think we need to play around with this. We want a less punchy kick. If we want more boom, we can bring that decay up. Okay, my 909 tune depth or whatever, does it even have this? I guess this was only available on the already, that sounds like a modified analog 909. Like my 909 didn't sound like that when I, so having it be like a stock 909 does not have a high pitched chirpy knock like that. That for sure. So the tune depth is definitely like added, right? That's tuning the fundamental. And that's also tuning the fundamental higher and lower than you could actually do on the real 909. So it's already like a modified 909, but at its nominal settings, it sounds really original. I'm going to keep it punchy. 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 I'm going to keep it really modify the transient a lot with that attack knob. It's a real sharp pop. Okay. Now what do we want to do to this? We want to... We have to turn this on. Aha. All right, we got to be careful with that, with the filter. Let's see what else we got in here. We got EQ. I want it to be thicker. There it is. A little more thump. I haven't worked like this in so long. But it's so like switching to a different plugin from using the live stock devices. It's like slowing me down so much. Like, what are you guys listening to? Selway's just like playing with a kick for an hour. All right, let's turn the compressor on and see what we can do. Interesting. Okay. There's a stereo spread. You probably don't want to do that to your kick too much, but that's interesting. Hearing those high frequency transients getting spread out like that. Yeah, it's doing a Haas effect. So if I put that in mono, you hear it's phasing, right? So we want to be careful about using that. All right. Let's get some other drums in here. Going to be kind of old school about it with lots of hi-hats. All right, let's get over to... All right, since we're mixing through the internal bus, let's play with that a little bit. And right now, okay, the kick drum's going to the master. Let's go to bus 1 for the kick drum and start playing around with what this thing can do. We've got a clipper. We can split the frequency. Oh boy. I don't know what this crossover is doing right now. Sounding pretty hardcore. All right, so I don't want to do like really hardcore right now. I'm just, I think a lot of us know that distortion's an important part of like hard-edged kick sound design, right? I think I want to keep it more like that. Definitely 90s sounding like that, right? It sounds like you're driving it through an analog mixer at this point. Let's play with the kick going into that, actually. I like it lower. Yeah, I like it lower. Playing around with the compressor and the EQ a little bit going into the distortion. All right. Somehow this machine is leading me to like stomping 90s kind of dirty grooves. That is what's happening. Yeah, it's sounding James Portia's Mackie tone. I guess that's like, I know that tone because I did so much with overdriving Mackies back in the day. Okay, let's play around with the hi-hats a little bit. I still feel like that kick drum's a little bit overdone. I'm going to leave it less boomy for now, a little sharper, punchier. Leave some room for some other elements later. You can always play around with it. All right, there's a EQ after the distortion. Oh, it's off. Remove some of this low mid stuff. Just wanted to kind of thump a little bit. I don't know. Let's switch over to those hi-hats. Let's play with the hi-hats a little bit. I'm going to do the hi-hats through... all right. All right. I just put the hi-hats into the same bus as the kick, and they're going to get a little brutal, I think. But I like that. They're just too loud. Where's the level? Or maybe I want to go to bus 2 and give him some chorus. It'd be nice if I don't know. It'd be nice if there was the same distortion in bus 2. But I'm okay with that. High pass these a little bit. Play around with that. I mean, the chorus right now is set up more like a flanger, right? Headphone users, be warned. I hear you. Let's smooth them out a little bit. So, bus send, I can send bus 2 back to bus 1. Does that sound stupid? That's crazy. Interesting. You can do like a dry wet thing. You could, I have like, or a parallel thing. I have like the distorted hi-hats and the chorus flangey hi-hat. I don't know if that's like, is that necessary? I don't know. And the highs, it's okay. We can play around with the stereo spread on those. All right. More. There's even more hidden controls. There's sidechain for the dynamics. There's a sidechain from the kick on the hi-hats now. That's great. All right, let's do some toms. How do we do accents? can do... Oh, there's some key commands. A right click is doing an it's an articulation. All right, anyway, I want to play with that sound a little bit. Let's tune the toms a little bit. Oh, go away. That needs to be way more powerful. All right, let's get rid of the more there. I mean, okay, it's taking over. This is where like the separate output makes sense. It's messing up my kick drum. So let's see if we can fix that. Definitely need to fix this. Not loving how that sounds right now. How are we doing? Already 139, and all we've got is a kick, a tom, and a couple of hi-hats. Bus slots. One. Oh. All right. This whole bus slot thing is maybe I'm not quite there yet. All right. Let's see if we can figure out how to get these separate outs going. So there is, all right, I have a track here that's set up for audio from Drumazon, and then we have output. That's going to be output 1. And if we want to go to output 2, right, and turn that on, and then we have to figure out how to get that tom to that separate out. Okay. I could swear I found this before. Where the outputs go. That's not it. What am I not seeing? Like, this should be clear, right? Here in options, audio output setup. There it is. I knew it was in there. All right, so we want the low tom to go to output 2. And we're still hearing it. Why are we still hearing it? Is it because it's going to a bus? Now, I would have thought that taking it out of... It must be because it's going to a bus. I don't know. I would have thought that when I add it to a separate output that it would remove it from the main outs. Why is it not? Is it because it's going to the bus and not the master? That's still there. All right. We will figure this out. See, I warned you. I warned everybody that, this is checking out a new plugin for the first time. And I didn't read the manual. Do you guys read the manual before you get started on a new plugin? You probably should, right? Then you'll know, oh, where's that thing? Or you can have it handy while you're playing around, which is what I should be doing. But I just want to play. I just want to have fun. All right, so we have the audio output set up. Master out 1. Low tom is 2. I mean, I did quickly try this earlier and then totally forgot how it worked. But when I switched to a different output, it didn't. I thought it went away. All right. We're going to do it. We're going to figure it out. Interesting. Master out to stabled. That's output 1, and then output 1. Oh, okay, so it's like after all the buses. It has something to do... Well, that is really sharp. I'm sorry. It has something to do with the busing, right? You could even have the buses on separate outputs. That's crazy. What happens if I do that? It's still coming out. I don't want this to derail us too much. Yeah, see, like the tom has no bus slot. Going straight out. All right. Let's stop for a sec. I want to talk to you guys because I want to clear my mind of this output problem that's getting in the way of my creativity. Hey, Silver Knobs. Glad you like the irregular hi-hats. I like irregular hi-hats too. Highly syncopated, overly busy techno hi-hats. I'm into it. All right. And Mara's saying it probably all needs to go out on separate channels. And yes, you're right. But I'm trying to, I'm learning how to use this plugin in front of you in public, making all the mistakes that you might make, maybe, if unless you're, I don't know, like a genius, or you did read the manual. That would make you knowledgeable in this regard. But it's not, it's pretty typical. It isn't always the case, but it's often the case with plugins that have multiple outs, that when you assign an instrument to a separate out, it takes it out of the main out. And that's what I thought was going to happen. And why it's not happening is probably something really simple that I'm not thinking of because I'm multitasking and live streaming and trying to make music at the same time. All right. And yeah, he's Nomads. James is saying, yeah, getting bus output and master output along with the assigned channel. Right. I'm going to figure this out. I don't know if we're going to figure it out today. I think that would be really boring to sit here for like an hour and go through the routing assignments in this plugin. We just want to make music and we want to see what else this plugin can do. Right now, I'm just getting to know it as a regular old 909 plus effects. That's what's happening. Nice. Neopagan says, I think because you send all to output 1. All right, but the master's going to output 1. All right, I'm going to think about it. Maybe it's because of the one bus. Maybe if we didn't have it going through a bus at all, that could be it. Aaron Hedges, what's up? If only there was a hardware version of this plugin, it would be so much easier to work with your hands. Yes, wouldn't it? I mean, I thought about hooking up a MIDI controller or the push here, but there's like not enough knobs. I don't have enough knobs to properly and buttons to do this. So yeah, you're right. I need a piece of hardware that has. I need Christian's 909 back. Oh, I'm so sorry. Having the hardware, it's so much fun. I love the original 909. I'm gonna have to get one of those clones. What are the other good 909 clones that are out there? There's a couple, right? I mean, there's the obvious inexpensive Behringer version. There's a Russian one, right? The name of it is escaping me. Like there's a hardware clone that you can order that's looks pretty cool, but all right. What else are we talking about? Luminous Cloud likes a shuffled pattern. All right, let's see if I can figure out what the shuffle can do in here. Normally that's just a knob, right? Or it's not a knob. In the original 909, you hit like shift and then you hit another button to do the percentage of the shuffle. And here we just have a continuous percentage. This is great. There it is. Now it's just that much more like slightly Detroity now. This is like, all right. Let's add in another instrument. Now, we didn't solve our routing problem. Maybe I'll just try to work with it. Like it's in there twice, right? Still didn't figure out the individual accent. Oh, there it is. It's command. you hit Command to do. Now, is that? Can I solo the clap? Yeah, there's a solo button. So when you the regular click is full velocity, and then the command click is the lower velocity. And it looks like you can set those, which is nice. Like you could actually you could reverse them. You could have the normal higher and the accent lower or whatever, depending on what you like. All right, so there's that clap. What can we do to the clap? We can. All right, I kind of like it where it was. Move that transient out a little bit. What happened? Let's do the buses again. Oh my God. Sorry. I love the sound of a saturated clap. But that is really harsh going through that bus. So I think this is definitely, let's not do that. Let's try to get it sounding good on the external output. All right. So we're going to go options, audio outputs. We're going to make the clap go to 4. All right. And it's going to be still mixed into the master out. Fine. Let's do Ramazan. Now let's just put some stupid distortion on that clap. I'll use overdrive because it's here. That's what we're talking about. I'm going to go back and get those kick drums and those toms and those hi-hats back in. Oh, where did my, you can't see the screen. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I got all caught up. You didn't see any of that. Where's my mind today? It's caught up in that output routing problem. That's what it is. Okay. This is a good groove to start with. Let's do some rides. The rides could also go through. Let's turn that level down. You hear it's like the whatever the crazy EQ I did for the kick drum. It's like bringing out too much of that harsh, bright transient, but when I brought the level of the ride down, it's like hissing. It's like a second hi-hat. I kind of like it. Panning a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit of panning on the open hi-hat too. I mean, this thing sounds legit. I mean, this sounds like a real 909 with processing. Definitely really good emulation. I'm convinced. Where was I? Oh, hi-hats. Shorter. What happens if we do the global accent? We're gonna mess everything up. Changes the groove and really changes what the hi-hats are doing. I like all of it. All right. Do we really need a rim shot? What beat are we on? The way I did the claps, it's I'm not sure. I think I should have shifted it over because I lost where the downbeat was. I don't know if you noticed the same thing, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, but then I was starting to feel it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Like this second quarter note should be the first beat. Is there a way to shift everything over? I know some step sequencers let you shift left and right. I'm afraid to touch these. Like, isn't this gonna, all right, this is gonna totally mess it up. Let's save. Save my first Drumazon 2 beat. Okay, so we've saved that. That's just scene. That should do, saving that should do the whole, the sounds and the pattern, but just in case, let's do save my first Drumazon 2 kit. All right, so now I know for sure. Oh, and then I need to save this again. Yes, I want to override it. And I mean, this is just, you really should get in the habit of saving all your crap anyway, just in case, right? Export pattern, save pattern. That's annoying. Just forget I did that. All right, so what the question was, see, it shifts. That's what I was, yeah, okay. I just wanted to save it before I messed it up. So does that mean I select and then, oh, I love it. This is a great thing. I mean, you won't need it all that often, but we don't need to do the kick drums. The kick drums are just quarter notes. But all of the other ones, if I shift them over, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, no, I have to select it first, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Or all the syncopated stuff. Or, oh my God, how am I even? All right, and this should be the same. Although, all right, maybe the hand clap, maybe I had it on the wrong beat. There it is. And the tom, 1, 2, 3. I've lost track now. I totally messed it up. Although this is a cool way to just do interesting variations. I like that too. That's good. I'm gonna save that. Let's mute that kick drum. Let's save that. All right, so this is what I was wondering. Will the mutes save in the patterns? And no. So it looks like that's separate. I hope you could automate that in a live situation. So let's go over to here, delete the kick drums, and save it again. I'm going to overwrite. There we go. That's what we want. I'm trying to think, like, how can I use this? Like, I would use an actual hardware 909, and I would, like, make a beat and then copy it and make a variation, like add a fill, take an instrument away. I mean, an easier thing, you know, when you have all your drums out on a mixer is to mute the kick. In a live performance, you just mute the kick and then unmute the kick. That's a given. But also, it might be useful to have different patterns, right? And it gets all louder now because the distortion's changed because the kick drum isn't in there. Okay. I mean, that's a good start. That's a good start. I'm enjoying this. Let's see. Ordro rear. Options to the bus. Audio output setup from the options. I did that. I did that. But what the question was, we thought when you take... yes, we went here. We looked at the audio output setup. And I've got the tom sent to the output 2, and I've got the hand clap sent to output 4, but it's still in the master. And I had thought that when you assign a separate out, that it would remove it from the master. That's what I thought. But I was wrong, or we're not doing it right. One of those. But yeah, we're on the same page, roughly. Where are we? Aaron Hedges says, reminds me of how Philip Glass does his arpeggios. He shifts them an eighth note on the left or right-hand side so the melody starts to become chords and the groove shifts every 8 or 16 bars. Yeah, that is the whole thing. You know, we were just shifting notes earlier and later in the patterns, and that is a total compositional technique. Are we doing Philip Glass style 909 techno today? Should I get some like xylophones and do dun 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 for like 10 minutes and then shift the phase of the patterns? It could be a thing. All right. Mars says the open hat is confusing me. Whereas before, who was saying we were talking about how we liked the crazy overly syncopated hi-hats. But yeah, maybe we need a variation of this beat where the hi-hats are straighter, right? All right, so let's and see, that's less confusing. Let's save that. Why did I call it my first pattern? Just giving it random names. Okay, so that's a subtle variation. That's a little busier. That's a little more driving with the claps and the hi-hats are simplified. Then we got that little break there where we can do some changes. And it shifts like immediately. There's probably, I would assume, I don't know if we'll figure it out right this second. There's probably a way to make it so it changes patterns in a quantized way. We'll see. This is all guessing. I haven't read the manual. All right, so I can't believe it. It's already 2 o'clock. We do need to wrap things up for today to go switch back into family mode and be a techno dad. But I was thinking, I could just insert another track here and throw on another Drumazon. Yes, continue evaluation. Thank you. And then let's see. Let's find minus kick. So these are all parameters that don't have kicks, I think. And let's pick one in the 135 range. And I don't know. This is just going to give us some... Oh, no. Ableton just crashed. Well, I'm sorry, guys. So I was going to add another element to this, but because it is 2 o'clock, let's just go ahead and wrap things up for today. And thank you for watching. That didn't go quite as smoothly as I had hoped, but it was still fun, right? I like this plugin. I'm definitely going to lay down the upgrade cost. It's, I got a coupon today in the email, so going to do it. I think I'm convinced that was just that, even with the issue that just happened. I don't know if that's a live issue or hopefully not. I hope it's not a Drumazon 2 issue, but anyway, as you can see, live quit unexpectedly. We're going to ignore that for now. All right, so we're not ending on a high note, but I do want to say again, if you've been thinking about maybe wanting to work with me, do a class with me, or do something with 343 Labs, I've got this Making Techno 6 lesson 2-week online course starting imminently in September. And it'd be great to have some of you regular viewers, people hanging out in the chat, if to think about it. Maybe you want to do it. Check our link below, 343 Labs, to get more info, find out what the start date is, what the cost is, all of that. And then, of course, we're also doing the feedback session in 2 weeks with Sync24. Great guy. He's got a cap and a beard just like me. He must be cool. And he makes some amazing electro and other styles. And he runs a great label called Cultivated Electronics. And he's going to go over your submissions with me, your electro submissions with me. So get your tracks ready. Go to our Discord. Link is below. Look for the Selway feedback channel and post your submission there. And, you still got a couple of weeks. There is time, but, get ready. Looking forward to hearing what you guys come up with. And that's going to be it for today. Thanks for going along with my exploration of this Drumazon 2 update. Happy 909 day. Go make some techno with some 909 sounds. And I will see you next week. Thanks very much, everybody. Adios.